Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. They will continue our lab, the matrix labs, the video number 94. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We are still working with AI tools to generate different scenarios concerning the volume shadow copy topic, how to troubleshoot problems related to the volume shadow copy backup technology. Okay, we have seen that the two competitors or the most uh, rich answers are generated from Gemini experimental 1206 model and Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So we'll continue the scenarios and see how we can use the AI tools to generate complex scenarios concerning volume shadow copy troubleshooting. Let's see Gemini here, for example. Here is another scenario. Let's read it loudly and see how we can, when we face something like that, what will be the solution. Let's first try to select the answer and see what will be. Let's go again and check what will be the answer. Here you can see that we have a lot of things. So this is scenario 2. Let's read it loudly.
Scenario. You're monitoring the backup status of your servers and notice that backups for a particular server, SRV02, are completing successfully, but there are warnings in the backup logs. The warning message says, VSS, ASR writer failed with error code 0x800423F4. Additionally, when you check the event viewer on SRV02, you see several errors with event ID 8229. A VSS writer has rejected an event with error 0x800423F4. The writer experienced a non-transient error. If the backup process is retried, the error is likely to reoccur. Changes that the writer made to its components while handling the event will not be available to the requester. Check the event log for related events from the application hosting the VSS writer. Your task. Analyze the scenario. What do these error messages mean? What is the likely cause of the problem? Propose a solution. How would you troubleshoot and resolve this issue, considering the information provided in the PDF? Justify your approach. Explain your reasoning behind each step. Remember to use the PDF, especially the Troubleshooting VSS, Volume Shadow Service, Errors section, as a reference. Think about the specific error codes and what they indicate. Junior IT's turn. Junior IT. Okay, this one seems a bit trickier. We have a failed ASR writer, and the error code 0x800423F4 indicates a non-transient error, which means it will likely happen again if we retry the backup. 1. Analyze the scenario. ASR writer. The ASR, Automated System Recovery. Writer is responsible for backing up the system state, which is critical for bare metal recovery. A failure of this writer means that we might not be able to restore the server properly in case of a disaster. Error code 0x800423F4. According to the PDF and some online research, this error code means that the writer experienced a non-transient error. This suggests a more persistent issue than a temporary glitch. Event ID 8229. This event confirms that the ASR writer rejected an event and provides the same error code. It also suggests checking the event logs of the application hosting the writer. But ASR is a system component, so this is a bit confusing. I will refer to page 134 to see what the service name and process are. It says here that the service name is VSS and the display name is Volume Shadow Copy, so I should check the event log for that. Overall, it seems like the ASR writer is...
So let's first check page 134. As you know that I have already fed up the AI tool with the PDF of Mr. Law Vanderpool, and I asked him to concentrate on the troubleshooting section in the PDF and use it to generate complex scenarios concerning the volume shadow copy troubleshooting. So if you go and open the PDF, Now we can use or go to page 130 to know what is the VSS or what is the writer which is called ACR writer. If you go there, where is page 130? So 130, we can go I think further. This is the system volume. So he's talking about what here? He's talking about page 134. Yeah, I think we can go further. 1, 2, 3, and we can go to page 134. So here we can see that ASR writer, we need, if we need to restart the writer, we need to restart the volume shadow copy service, which is basically, if you type run and services, here is the volume shadow copy. This is the one that we need to restart. Okay, so the SR writer can be restarted. The SR writer stores the configuration of disks on the system. The writer reports the boot configuration database BCD, and it's also responsible for dismounting the registry hive that represents the BCD during shadow copy creation. So stores the configuration on disk on the system. I think here is the writer reports the boot configuration database and also responsible for dismounting the registry hive that represents the BCD. Okay, so he's saying that it is related somehow uh, to taking the system state. Okay, or you know the system state, it is something or some files that are very important for the system that are backed up and restored in case of a corruption in the system or something. So ACR here is talking about maybe these are the boot files, so is referring to, I think, not only the boot files, some important registry keys and some important file systems. Anyway, so this is the service we need to restart. So if we go and check again what is event 82229, let's first see that this is event ID 8229. Let's see, I think this is related to failed of a VSS writer. So backup fails because of VSS writer. This is the event ID. Okay, rejected with the writer. The writer experienced an untransit. This is actually the error. If we go there and see, so this is the error, and this is related to the SQL writer. So this can be related to other services. Maybe let me see. Uh, okay, so this is related to the SQL writer, but for in our case, it is related to the ASR ASR writer. Okay, so if we go there and try to continue with our scenario, so we have ASR writer, automated system recovery. Okay, we have this error, which is a non-transit error. This is not a glitch, and we can see here that this is recorded in event 8229. So we can see the writer error in this event and the subcode in the same error, okay, or in the same event ID. And we have page 134. We know now which service we need to restart the ASR writer. Okay, let's continue.
Is consistently failing during the backup process, possibly due to a problem with its configuration, dependencies, or the data it's trying to back up. 2. Proposed solution. Here's how I would approach troubleshooting this. Check Event Viewer. More detail, I'd go back to the application and system event logs on SRV02 and look for any errors or warnings related to VSS, ASR, or the volume shadow copy service that occurred around the same time as the backup. I'd also check for any events that might indicate problems with disk space, permissions, or other system resources. I will use the table on page 134 to find more information. Sadmin list writers.
So if we go to page 134, let's see if there is any things we can see here. This is are the writers and the correspondent services. So here, okay, this is for the server or SQL Server writer. So he is giving us one scenario and how we can solve it. Okay, so this is good. Even in the PDF is giving us some examples we can use to troubleshoot or to use, and we can see a lot of things here. Anyway, so we can continue and see how this will be solved.
Writers. I'd run this command to verify that the ASR writer is indeed in a failed state. I'd also check the status of other writers to see if there are any related issues. Restart the volume shadow copy service. Since the ASR writer is closely tied to VSS, I'll try restarting the volume shadow copy service, VSS. This might resolve the issue if it's caused by a temporary glitch.
So let me first see something. I need to make sure it's ASR writer. I need just to make sure that it is what he's talking about. It's SR writer, SR writer. Let's. So this is the writers in Microsoft. Let's see what is SR writer, just to make sure that the info he is talking about is correct. If we go to ASR, stores the configuration. This reports. So he's talking about automated system recovery. Right, so the store configuration on this same, the writer reports the boot configuration is responsible for dismounting the registry hive that represents the BCD. ASO must include any package required for bare metal recovery. So let's see here also this one thing here. This is something using VSS automated system recovery for disaster recovery. So automated writer with Windows pre-installation to backup and restore critical volumes and other components of the bootable system state. So here you go. This is also one thing, bootable system state. So I think it refers to the system state of the partition C maybe. Anyway, so just to make sure that he is providing us with correct information, even though I insist that he takes his information from the PDF. So anyway, let's continue.
Glitch. Check ASR writer dependencies. I'd research the dependencies of the ASR writer. If it relies on other services, I'd make sure those services are running correctly. Check disk space and permissions. I'd verify that there's enough free space on all volumes, including the system volume and the volume where shadow copy storage is located. I'd also check the permissions on the system volume information folder to make sure the system account has the necessary access. Review Microsoft KB articles. I'd search Microsoft's knowledge base for the error code 0x800423F4 and event ID 8229 to see if there are any known issues or specific solutions related to the ASR writer. 3. Justification. Event Viewer provides detailed information about errors and their potential causes. Looking for related events can help identify dependencies or underlying issues. Sadmin List Writers confirms the status of the ASR writer and helps identify any other related writer failures. Restarting VSS service, a simple step that can sometimes resolve temporary glitches. Checking dependencies. Ensuring that all required services are running is crucial for the proper functioning of VSS writers. Disk space and permissions. These are common causes of VSS errors and should always be checked. Microsoft KB articles. Microsoft's knowledge base is a valuable resource for finding solutions to known issues. Junior IT. I think that covers the main points. What do you think? Is there anything I'm missing or any other troubleshooting steps you would recommend? Senior IT's turn. Senior IT. You've done an excellent job analyzing this scenario. You've correctly identified the key error messages and proposed a logical troubleshooting approach. Your understanding of the ASR writer's role and the importance of checking dependencies is spot on. Feedback on proposed solution. Strengths. Thorough analysis. You've correctly interpreted the error messages and identified the ASR writer as the likely source of the problem. Comprehensive troubleshooting steps. You've covered the essential steps, including checking the event viewer, using vsadmin, restarting services, and checking dependencies. Good use of resources. You've demonstrated that you understand how to use the PDF and online resources like Microsoft's knowledge base to find relevant information. Understanding of non-transient errors. You correctly recognize that a non-transient error suggests a persistent issue that needs to be addressed. Areas for improvement / additional considerations. Specificity in event viewer. While you mentioned checking the event viewer, be more specific about which event logs to check. In this case, in addition to the application and system logs, you should also check application and services logs Microsoft Windows backup. Application and services logs Microsoft Windows VSS. Consider system restore points. Since the ASR writer is involved, it's worth checking if system restore is enabled and if any restore points have been created successfully. If system restore is also failing, it could indicate a broader issue with VSS or system stability. This also uses the system volume information folder. Check for third-party interference. You should verify that no third-party backup or disk management software is interfering with VSS. These can sometimes cause conflicts with built-in Windows components. Alternative approaches and best practices. Badmin for system state backup. Since the ASR writer is related to system state backups, you could try running a manual system state backup using the Badmin command line tool. This might provide more specific error messages related to the ASR writer failure. Example: Badmin starts system state backup target. Replace E with a suitable backup target. Check for disk corruption. Run checkdisk/f/ are on all volumes to check for and repair any file system errors or bad sectors. Disk corruption can sometimes cause VSS writers to fail. SFC and DISM. Run the system file checker, SFC/scan now, and deployment image servicing and management, DSM/online/cleanup image/restore health. Tools to check for and repair any corrupted system files. These could potentially fix issues with the volume shadow copy service or the ASR writer. Comprehensive analysis of the scenario. Let's walk through a more detailed analysis, incorporating these points. Event viewer. Check the application and system logs for errors related to VSS, VolSnap, and the ASR writer. Event ID 8229 0x800423F4. Check the application and services logs Microsoft Windows backup log for errors related to the backup operation. Check the application and services logs Microsoft Windows VSS log for any VSS-related errors. Look for any other events that might indicate problems with disk space, permissions, or system resources. Vsadmin. Run vsadmin list writers to confirm the ASR writer is in a failed state. Run vsadmin list providers to identify the active VSS provider. Run vsadmin list shadow storage to check shadow copy storage usage and allocation. System restore. Check if system restore is enabled and if restore points are being created successfully. Badmin. Try running a manual system state backup using Badmin Start System State Backup to see if it generates more specific errors. Disk check. Run checkdisk/f/ are on all volumes to check for and repair any disk errors. SFC and DISM. Run SFC/scan now and DISM/online/cleanup image/restore health to check for and repair corrupted system files. Third-party interference. Check for any third-party backup or disk management software that might be interfering with VSS. Restart services. Restart the volume shadow copy service. Restart any services that the ASR writer depends on. Microsoft KB articles. Search for the error code 0x800423F4 and event ID 8229 in Microsoft's knowledge base for known issues and solutions. Senior IT. By following these steps, You should be able to identify the root cause of the ASR writer failure and resolve the issue. Remember to document your findings and the steps you take. Great job on tackling this more complex scenario. Do you have any further questions before we proceed? End of Phase 2, Scenario 2.
So this is the second scenario. I think it's a good one, but I think he's repeating himself in certain steps. But anyway, this is a very comprehensive approach. We should see the errors. We should restart the services related to the writer. We should check for disk errors. We should check for storage space. A lot of things, I think they are repeatedly used in errors related to the volume shadow copy. Anyway, let's see the answer of Claude, if he can give us more maybe comprehensive and creative scenarios. Let's see here first also the answer and try to read it loudly. So let's first read only one scenario and then we can continue with other scenarios. If we go there and try to read it.
Create a troubleshooting checklist. Look at automated monitoring solutions. Copy. Retry. Senior IT. Yes, let's look at more common VSS issues. Here's another scenario you'll often encounter. Scenario 1. SQL Server VSS writer failure. Copy. Error. VSS writer error event ID. 24583 description. Sklib error. Old error encountered calling iCommand text. Execute. How would you approach this one? Junior IT. Well, since it's related to SQL Server, I would check the SQL VSS writer service first. But I'm not sure what else to check. Senior IT. Good start. Here's the complete approach. PowerShell. Copy. Number 1. Check SQL writer status $SQL writer equals sadmin list writers select string context 0 for SQL Server writer #2. Verify SQL VSS writer service $service equals get service SQL writer if $service status any running. Write warning SQL writer service not running. Start service SQL writer #3. Verify SQL Server service account permissions must run as local system or have backup operator rights. Scenario 2. Exchange VSS writer issues. Copy. Error. Exchange writer failed with error 0x8000423F4 description. The writer experienced a non-transient error. What would be your first steps here? Junior IT. I think I would check the Exchange services and maybe the event viewer for Exchange-related errors, but I'm not sure about the specific services. Senior IT. Good thinking. Here's the systematic approach. PowerShell. Copy. Number 1. Check Exchange writer state of sadmin list writers select string context 0 for Microsoft Exchange writer #2. Verify Exchange services $Exchange services equals at MS Exchanges, #information store MS Exchange replace #replication service for each $service and $Exchange services. $SVC equals get service $service error action silently continue if $SVC. Write host restarting $service. Restart service $service for start sleep seconds 5 #3. Clear writer state $registry path equals HKLM. /system /current control set /services /VSS /diagonal. Remove item property path $registry path name. Exchange writer. Error action silently continue. Scenario 3. Shadow copy storage space issues. Copy. Warning. The shadow copies of Volume C were aborted because the shadow copy storage could not grow in time. This is a common one. How would you handle it? Junior IT. This seems related to storage space. I would check the shadow copy storage settings, but I'm not sure what the optimal settings should be. Senior IT. Perfect observation. Here's how to handle storage issues. PowerShell. Copy. Number 1. Check current storage settings SADMIN. List shadow storage number 2. Calculate optimal storage size $volume equals get volume drive letter C $max size equals math : round $volume. Size asterisk 0.2. Hashtag 20% of volume size number 3. Resize shadow storage with some headroom SADMIN resize shadow storage slash for equals C slash on equals C slash max size equals $max size hashtag 4. Clean up old shadows if needed $shadow count equals SADMIN list shadows select string shadow copy set. Count if $shadow count GT64. Write warning too many shadow copies. Cleaning up oldest. SADMIN delete shadows slash for equals C slash oldest slash quiet hashtag 5. Monitor shadow storage growth $monitor script equals $usage equals SADMIN list shadow storage select string. Use shadow copy storage space. If $usage match backslash D plus GB in $use equals $matches with $UVGT $max size asterisk 0.8. Write warning shadow storage approaching capacity. Would you like to see more scenarios? Create a troubleshooting checklist? Look at automated monitoring solutions?
So this is a couple of answers. We can see clearly that the answers of Claude is accompanied with scripts which are very useful to help us troubleshooting. As for Gemini, it doesn't give us maybe scripts, but it's giving us ways to approach the error using event viewer, using seeing the list of codes, providing some troubleshooting steps which are common. But with Claude, we can see he is approaching the troubleshooting subject by scripts, which is one of its strongest points, the coding section or the coding capabilities of Claude. If we go and again try to see the another scenario concerning VSS, we can see this is scenario number 3. Let's see the answer of Gemini again. So this is scenario 3. Let's read it loudly.
Senior IT. Let's move on to another scenario. This one involves a different kind of VSS error. Scenario. You are troubleshooting a backup failure on a Windows Server 2019 machine named SRV03. The backup software is reporting the following error message. VSS error 0x8004230C. The volume shadow copy operation failed because the specified volume is not supported. When you investigate the event viewer, you find several events with event ID 0x8004230C, and the description mentions that shadow copying the specified volume is not supported. Your task: analyze the scenario. What does this error message mean? What are the potential causes of this problem? Propose a solution. How would you troubleshoot and resolve this issue based on your understanding of VSS and the information provided in the PDF? Justify your approach. Explain your reasoning for each step you propose. Remember to consider the specific error code and the information from the Troubleshooting VSS Volume Shadow Service Errors section of the PDF. Junior IT's turn. Junior IT. Okay, this error seems to be directly related to the volume we're trying to back up. It's saying that VSS can't create a shadow copy of that specific volume. 1. Analyze the scenario. Error 0x8004230C. This error, as described on page 81 and page 86 of the PDF, means shadow copying of the specified volume is not supported. This suggests that there's something about the volume itself that VSS doesn't like. Volume.
So let's see page 81. 81. So this is page 81. Where is 81? So I think here he's referring to the error. It's number specified volume, shadow copy timeout. Okay, I think this it is not here. It's maybe in 82. Okay. Okay, he's talking about page 81 and page 86. Okay, if we go to page 86 maybe. So it's not in 81. 81, he's talking about this one. Let's go further. This is page 81. We don't see any, I don't see any error related, or this error is not specified here. Again, if we can go and see the error number, it's 423 DC, I think, or something else. Okay, 423, maybe 12 or OC. Here you go, this is it. This specified, it's in 80, not 81. The specified copy is not supported. And if you go to page 86, okay, now we have page 86. If we try to go, this is page 84, we have 85 and 86. Here you go, this is the one. Try description. When you try to revert a volume on a shared cluster disk or on a cluster shared volume to an earlier version by using volume shadow copy service, the affair called the shadow copy specified is not supported. Again, you are trying to revert a volume on a shared cluster disk or on a cluster shared volume to an earlier version. I think this is something, you have a shared volume or a cluster shared volume and try to play with its file system. Okay, so this will stop the volume shadow copy from working if you revert it. So here this is caused is needed usually a server that has been disabled or not starting properly. So he's saying here this is the procedures, but again he's talking here about restarting the he's talking about restarting Microsoft software shadow copy provider. Okay, he needs to make sure that this service is not stopped, it is automatically and working. Next, scroll down to the volume shadow copy service and perform the same steps, exit and reboot. So he's talking about restarting the provider service and the volume shadow copy service. If we go to Gemini and see, this could mean a few things. Let's see here the answer.
Volume not supported. This could mean a few things. File system. The volume might be formatted with a file system that VSS doesn't support, like FAT32. VSS primarily works with NTFS. The volume you're backing up has too much disk activity. Page 86 also suggests that a needed service has been disabled or is not starting properly. Dynamic disk. The volume might be on a dynamic disk. While VSS can work with dynamic disks, there might be certain configurations or limitations that are causing problems. Cluster shared volume. If SRV03 is part of a cluster, the volume might be a cluster shared volume, CSV, and there could be specific issues with VSS and CSVs. VSS provider issue. There might be a problem with the VSS provider itself, preventing it from creating a shadow copy of this particular volume. Third-party software. A third-party disk or backup utility might be interfering. 2. Proposed solution. Here's my troubleshooting plan. Verify file system and disk type. I'll use disk management, diskmemp.msc, to check the file system and type of the volume that's failing to be backed up. If it's not NTFS, that's likely the problem. If it's a dynamic disk, I'll need to investigate further. Check for cluster shared volume. If SRV03 is part of a failover cluster, I'll use the failover cluster manager to see if the volume is a CSV. If it is, I'll consult the cluster documentation for any specific VSS considerations. Review Event Viewer. I'll re-examine the application and system event logs for any other VSS or volsnap errors around the time of the backup failure. The error description mentioned checking the VSS log file, which might provide more specific information. I will also check for the specific error code in the PDF. Sadmin list providers. I'll run this command to make sure the correct VSS provider is being used. If it's a hardware provider, I might check the storage arrays management interface for errors. Test with Disk Shadow. I'll use Disk Shadow to try to create a shadow copy of the problematic volume manually. This can help isolate whether the issue is with the backup software or with VSS itself. I will check to see if there are any non-standard providers that are causing the problem when creating a VSS snapshot. To do this, I will go to the command prompt and execute the following command. Sadmin list providers. Use code with caution. Check for third-party software. I'll look for any third-party disk or backup utilities that might be interfering with VSS and disable or uninstall them temporarily for testing. 3. Justification. File system and disk type. VSS has specific requirements for the volumes it can shadow copy. NTFS is the standard, and dynamic disks can sometimes be problematic. Cluster shared volume. CSVs have unique considerations for VSS, so it's important to rule them out. Event Viewer provides valuable clues and context for the error. Sadmin list providers helps ensure the correct provider is in use and functioning. Disk Shadow allows for isolated testing of VSS. Third-party software can conflict with VSS and should be ruled out as a cause. Junior IT. Does this sound like a reasonable approach? Are there any specific steps I should prioritize or any other potential causes I should consider? Senior IT's turn. Senior IT. That's a very thorough analysis and a great plan. You've correctly interpreted the error message and identified the potential causes. Your troubleshooting steps are logical and cover the most important areas. Feedback on proposed solution. Strengths. Accurate understanding of the error. You've correctly understood that error 0x8004230 C relates to a volume not being supported for shadow copy. Comprehensive approach. You've covered the key areas: file system, disk type, VSS provider, event viewer, and potential third-party conflicts. Good use of tools. You've correctly identified Disk Shadow as a valuable tool for testing, and you're using Sadmin effectively. Logical reasoning. Your justification for each step is sound and demonstrates a good understanding of VSS principles. Areas for improvement/additional considerations. Prioritize file system check. Given the error message, checking the file system type should be your very first step. If the volume is not NTFS, that's almost certainly the cause. Dynamic disk details. While you mention dynamic disks, be aware that VSS can usually handle simple dynamic volumes. Problems are more likely with spanned, striped, mirrored, or RAID 5 volumes. If you find it's a dynamic disk, check the specific configuration. Shadow copy storage location. Double-check where the shadow copy storage is located for that volume. If it's on a different volume that's also not supported by VSS, that could be the issue. You can use Sadmin list shadow storage to verify this. Also, follow the steps on page 86 of the document. Re-register.
So if we go to page 86, so he's referring to this page. So it is simply related to the partition file system. Okay, is something revert a volume on a shared disk or a cluster volume to an earlier version. Okay, the error is usually a needed service has been disabled or not starting properly. So anyway, again we can return to the answer. Register VSS. This is not recommended by Microsoft. Even though it is stated in the PDF, Mr. Lovenderpool says do not register VSS. Okay, this is one of the things we should not do. He's saying that if all else fails and you suspect a corruption issue with VSS itself, you could try to register the VSS components at the last resort. The steps for this are outlined on page 169 and 170. 169, okay, we can go there. 169. This is one of the strategies to solve issues with, okay, saying you try to register. This is only on server 2003. It's not for use with Windows Vista or Windows Server 2008 or later versions. So he's saying that in later versions, Windows components installation is manifested based. Trying to manually register specific components as described in the following steps can have unexpected results that may require you to reinstall Windows to resolve. So this only works on Windows Server 2003, and it is currently not used, or it is expired, not working, or we do not Microsoft does not support it anymore. So we should not use this step. And he's saying as a last resort, but this is only server 2003 only. So we can continue.
Re-register VSS. If all else fails, and you suspect a corruption issue with VSS itself, you could try to re-register the VSS components as a last resort. The steps for this are outlined on page 169, server 2003 only, and page 170 of the document. Page 86 of the document suggests to check the status of the system by following these steps. Go to the registry editor and locate hky_local_machine/system/setup. Ensure that the following registry values are set to 0. System setup in progress, upgrade in progress. Page 86 of the
Let's see page 86. I think this is not stated in page 86. If we go there and go to page 86, yes, it's stated here, but in page 85. But let's see here. No, but this is not related to. Let's see other thing here. Again, I think this is concerning another error. This is not the error that we are talking about. Okay, this is not the thing. If we go to page, let me see. This is page 86. Okay, if we go further, no, it's not stated here. He is hallucination. Okay, this is our hallucinating. This is not correct. Okay, this is not there. It was in another page. The document suggests that DLL are corrupted. Not corrupted. You can stop the volume shadow copy. Again, we do not register the volume shadow copy services. This is only on Windows Server 2003. Page 86 suggests that COM Plus needs to be reinstalled. Again, this is not in page 86. I don't know how is insisting upon page 86 because it does not contain any of these. Okay, so this is on the previous page. Okay, these are all on page 85 maybe, or other things. So this is not the correct answer. Okay, if we go further and continue, again check for hot fixes to solve an issue like that. Test on a different volume. Okay, so this is one or two steps that are logical, and we can continue. Comprehensive analysis, disk management, disk errors, list shadows, list providers, disk shadow, third party, troubleshooting. Simple one. He hallucinated at the end of the answer, but anyway, we can see that this is very simple. The answer for this, and it's already stated in the PDF Okay, and simply you just restart, or the solution is to restart uh, this disk, or to make sure volume shadow copy is restarted and Microsoft software shadow copy provider also is restarted, or it is set to automatic. Okay, and check a couple of things concerning the NTFS or something. Okay, this is related to, even though it's very simple I think, but we can get benefit of the answer. So we can go to Claude and see the other answers. Let's continue from here. For example, let's read this answer.
Senior IT. Let's look at more challenging scenarios you might encounter. Scenario 4. System writer failure. Copy. Error. System writer failed event ID. 8193 description. Unexpected error calling routine reg open key XW. How would you start troubleshooting this one? Junior IT. I see it's related to the system writer, which I know is important. Should I check the cryptographic service, since that's related to system writer? But I'm not completely sure of the next steps. Senior IT. Good catch on the cryptographic service. Here's the complete approach. PowerShell. Copy. Number 1. Verify system writer. Dependencies $system writer services equals at crypt svc equals cryptographic services event system equals com plus event system VSS equals volume shadow copy win management equals Windows management instrumentation hashtag 2. Check and restart services in correct order for each. $service and $system writer services keys. Right host checking $system writer services $service. Stop service $service force start sleep seconds 2 hashtag restart in reverse order array : reverse $system writer services keys for each $service in $system writer services keys. Start service $service start sleep seconds 2 hashtag 3. Verify system writer state of sadmin list writer select string context 0 for system writer. Scenario 5. VSS provider registration issues. Copy. Error. VSS underscore provider underscore registered event ID. 12292 description. The shadow copy provider is not registered. What steps would you take here? Junior IT. I know we can check registered providers with sadmin list providers, but I'm not sure what to do if there's a registration problem. Senior IT. Good. Let's look at the complete solution. PowerShell. Copy. Number 1. Check existing providers sadmin list providers. Number 2. Verify provider registration in registry $provider path equals HKLM /system /current control set /services /VSS /providers hashtag 3. Check Microsoft provider registration $ms provider equals get child item $provider path where object get item property $under PS path select string Microsoft if not $ms provider. Right warning, Microsoft provider not found. Fixing registration. Hashtag stop VSS services stop service VSS. Force stop service SWPRV. Force hashtag re-register provider $DLL path equals $NV. System root /system 32 /vsysvg.exe start process $LL path argument list /register system. Wait hashtag restart services start service SWPRV start service VSS. Scenario 6. Hyper-V.
I think here this is for Microsoft providers. We have other providers I think than Microsoft, so I'm not completely sure if this answer is correct. And again, we do not register providers or DLL. Okay, I think this is not a correct thing to do. So anyway, let's continue with the answer.
Hyper-V VSS writer issues. Copy. Error. Hyper-V VSS writer timeout event ID. 12317 description. VSS timed out while creating snapshot. This is a common one with virtualized environments. How would you approach it? Junior IT. Since it's Hyper-V related, I check the Hyper-V VSS writer service and maybe look at the VM status, but I'm not sure about the timeout settings or what else to check. Senior IT. Excellent starting point. Here's the comprehensive approach. PowerShell. Copy. Number 1. Check Hyper-V writer status $Hyper-V writer equals sadmin list writer select string context 0 for Hyper-V VSS writer hashtag 2. Check Hyper-V integration services on VMsjet VM for each object right host. Checking integration services for dollar underscore name get VM integration service name dollar underscore name where object dollar underscore name EQ VSS hashtag 3. Extend VSS timeout in registry. $reg path equals HKLM. Backslash system backslash current control set backslash services backslash VSS backslash settings. Set item property path. $reg path name. Timeout seconds. Value 300 number 4.
So I think also this is, I don't know, it is recommended to take or VSS timeout. This is related, I think, to the service, not to the writer. Okay, anyway, so this is also need to be checked.
Number 4. Check VM snapshot status get VM for each object $VM equals $underscore snapshots equals get VM snapshot name $VM. Name right host $VM. Name has $dollar snapshots. Count snapshots hashtag 5. Restart Hyper-V VSS writer restart service VMMS force. Would you like to see more complex scenarios? Create troubleshooting flowcharts for these issues? Look at automated remediation scripts for common problems?
So again, this seems to be good exercises. Okay, we can check a lot of problems concerning writers for Hyper-V, writers for SQL, writers for other things, but I think they are not that complex. So I asked him to see more complex scenarios. These are very, very simple scenarios. You can just see the error and try to apply certain steps. We need something to be more complex. If we go and again to Gemini, I ask it to give us maybe a fourth scenario or another scenario. This is scenario number 4. We can see here, let's see if we can get a better scenario this time. So let's continue and do like that, or let me try to read from here maybe.
Senior IT. All right, let's tackle another scenario. This time we'll focus on a different type of VSS error. Scenario. You're responsible for managing backups on a Windows Server 2016 machine named SRV04. Recently, backups have been failing intermittently. The backup software reports a generic VSS error, and when you check the event viewer, you find the following error around the time of the backup failures. Event ID 8193 source, VSS description, volume shadow copy service error. Unexpected error calling routine reg openkeyxw-147483646. System backslash current control set backslash services backslash VSS backslash diagram. HR equals 0x80070005. Access is denied. Operation. Initializing writer. Context. Writer class ID. Y813297566F93446485310502530 writer name. System writer instance ID. 7BB4143139659 Your task. Analyze the scenario. What does this error message mean? What are the potential causes? Propose a solution. How would you troubleshoot and resolve this issue? Justify your approach. Explain your reasoning for each step. Consider the event ID, the error code, and the context provided in the error message. Refer to the Troubleshooting VSS Volume Shadow Service Errors section of the PDF, especially pages 146 and 147.
Well, that is explained in detail. Let's see page 146. 146. So I think maybe it is here stated. Where is page 146 again? Let's. So I think here also again the number of the pages are not correct. He's saying 146 and 147. Let's go to the page of 146. So this is not correct. Okay, this seems to be not correct. Let's see, where is the error here? Okay, that seems to be okay. Again, the pages are not that he's referring. Okay, so this is an error saying that you installed HTTP role on a computer. When you restart the cryptographic service, the following event is logged in application log. So he is stating something different. He's talking about you have a certain error. Okay, when you back up this server. Okay, and I think this is not even correct if we go there. So let's see the answer. Maybe the writer is denied. System writer, this is permission related to permissions. Okay, so this seems to be a permission issue. But again, I need to see something here because Claude, when I asked him to solve this issue related to a registry, just a moment, let's see here, something like, so he got it, this is related to cryptographic service, so this is the error, and he said you need to restart the services. Okay, so if we see the solution for that, let me see what is the solution for it. So just a moment, do following step, be careful. So I need to see this where it is. So this is the error. Okay, let's see what he said here. It is 8 or 8193. Okay, this is the error. And if we go to the PDF, he's saying that what we need to do here, we need to this is related to HTTP service or server role is installed, okay, on this server, and the registry keys are messed up. Maybe when this core network service is removed, every time it's restarted, so and so. Resolution volume shadow copy continue to factor expected, so you can ignore the event. If you need to avoid the events, run the following. So strange here, even though this error he said you need to restart. This key mentions this for diagnostic purpose. I don't know, but I think this is he stated that we need to restart the services. Okay, this seems to be a little bit different. So I don't think this is also correct answer, but anyway, there is some hallucination somehow concerning these problems, or some of them. So if we continue, again 146 and 147 does not contain the answer. If continue here, we can see this seems to be cryptic related to system writer, and the registry key access is denied. It gets an unexpected error calling. It seems VSS having troubleshooting accessing a registry key. This is correct. Okay, the system writer is critical. The error mentions the registry. unable to access the key, potential cause. System runs under network service, might not be necessary to access. Page 47 explains due to DHCP service account overwriting. So this is the correct answer. Yes, likely true. The DHCP service overwriting permissions on this key when it is installed. This is not stated by Claude here. He is stating that you need only to restart the services, and he doesn't explain why, and actually you do not to do anything. Okay, we don't need to do anything here. This is the thing here. Third party backup solution, so a corrupted registry. Okay, this seems to be, but there is no corrupted registry. Can check for the permissions. Okay, run PowerShell. There is no something here. This is okay. This is stated in the PDF. Okay, that you need to run this commandlet. Okay, you don't need to add something or the registry. Anyway, restart services after correcting the permission if they were wrong. I will restart the volume shadow copy and relevant writers. Again, he doesn't say you need to restart anything. Okay, you can leave everything as is because the backup will continue. Okay, so check system restore. Okay, I think here the senior IT. Okay, the answers. We need to export the registry keys. Use process monitor. Don't think so. Consider HTTP role. It was recently installed. Configured should be contributed factor. Script should fix it. It was be aware of the potential cause. Again, this is not that correct because he says that there is nothing you can do. It is an error that you can ignore. Alternative approach and best practice. Group policy. You can consider using group policy to manage the permissions on VSS. Again, you should not do that. Okay. You ensure that network service account has necessary access. Security audit. Comprehensive analysis. Okay. Writer, third party, HTTP, restart the services test. So I think there is some hallucination in the answer, but anyway, it seems to be the more accurate one. I think it is for Claude. Again, he is talking about just restarting the services without doing anything. If we go to the same error that he have given us, say it related to the cryptopic services, he didn't say that this is related to the DHCP. The only thing he will do, he will restart the services. This is the only thing he have done or given us the answer, and this seems to be the most correct one. He will not do anything. It's just restarting the services, but you don't need that. So this is can be not the correct thing. He should explain why we need to restart, and actually don't need to restart. So again, there is some hallucination in the answer. Even though they can read it, this is very simple. You just read and copy and paste and try to give us a correct answer. So if we continue again with the other scenarios, if you continue, have stopped at this one. Here we have more complex answers, multi-writer cascade failure. So I think we can stop at this point. So I think we have already, how much time we have? We have 1 hour. So I think we can stop at this point and continue in the upcoming video. Hope this video is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.